It's no secret that the last 6 years have been turbulent for Zorm, the studio behind 2019 smash hit Disco Elysium. Between takeovers, redundancies, lawsuits and out-of-court settlements, Zorm now faces hostility from fans around their next game. But despite several headline departures in 2021, members of the team that created our 2021 Game of the Year Disco Elysium are still in place and are now hard at work on their next title, codenamed Project C4. We recently got to sit down with writer Siim Sinamäe, better known as Kosmos, to discuss Project C4 and how they hope to build on Disco to craft a daring and cerebral espionage RPG.
Project C4 is a gripping tale of espionage from us at Zorm Studio. It is a role-playing game in which you are set out on a desperate assignment with very high stakes that you only have one shot at. We are inspired by writers such as John Le Carre, Ursula Le Guin, Philip K. Dick, and among others, to tell a truly compelling story of betrayal, trust, allegiances, all very valid questions, important questions in the world of espionage. Who can you really trust? Who will betray you? We also know that betrayal is only possible in the presence of love.
Players of Disco Elysium will be familiar with its thought cabinet, where thoughts get slowly internalized, permitting new skills and bonuses. C4 develops this further to better fit the espionage theme. Now called conditioning, Kosmos explains the updated system and the penalties for going against your thoughts, which the game calls dissonance.
We have this conditioning system, which I would say is like thought cabinet plus. It is an advancement of the system we did on Disco Elysium, and we thought of adding another dimension to it, because in the world of espionage you don't really have the time to wait for your thoughts to cook. You may have to take quick action, and for that we have devised this conditioning system. You gather these thoughts in the world, and you either choose to punish or reinforce them. It's easy to explain with the example of smoking. If you condition the thought of being a non-smoker, or let's say just a normal person, then you probably get like a boost to your breathing, your body, your longevity, and if you punish that thought, you go on smoking, you go on looking cool, but you will die earlier. But should you condition the thought of being a non-smoker and you smoke, you trigger something what we call dissonance, and that is like going against one's own training, one's conditioning. The game recognizes that, hey, you are not the person you said that you are. You are not doing the things that you said that you will do. And gives you a penalty. You gain you lose the bonus you got from conditioning being a non-smoker. Because we know non-smoking only has bonuses. Smoking rarely so. And we can think about that in the way of you're doing espionage work. You may need to fit in with a certain group, a crew. You must take upon ideas that are really not yours but help you blend in. You may have to condition something that helps you withstand under pressure, because spies are always under pressure situations, behind enemy lines, under covers, waiting to get pretty much snapped up by enemy intelligence. So it's more of a system that has this opportunity cost of it's not just flowers and the bees, it's more there's an opportunity cost. You are either this or that, whereas in Disco it was just one, you have it and then you cook it and you get numbers, but it's the player has more agency on how they want to go, and I think the most interesting things happen if the player doesn't want to reinforce a thought, but they really have to potentially to get through something, because we think that is very much that is espionage, doing things that you maybe don't want to for some perceived benefit or like bettering the world, you know, the motivations of spies are wild and vast. I think that there is a lot of like emergent gameplay, and especially like most important player expression, you know, like because, you know, changing your mind is easy, changing yourself is much harder.
As with Disco, dice rolls will determine your success or failure at certain tasks. But much more than its predecessor, C4 encourages improvising new solutions when things go wrong.
Failing a white check, you know, does not need to send you off from that challenge. You know, you can exert your limits, put yourself under pressure to be able to re-roll the check, you know, and maybe you succeed, maybe you fail. If you fail, let's say not even fail enough times, if you exert your limits, you know, you start to get disadvantage on the checks, you know, and you gotta replenish your, like, take yourself down to like bearable levels, you know, like of not being this like strung out, burnt out, like wreck of a nervous person, you know. Yeah, we thought of like, you know, we cannot get rid of safe scammers, let's say, and we don't want to. I think that is also, or like we think that's also a very valid player expression, you know. But it's like how to, like, you know, maybe they feel different if they like exert a couple of times and then they still fail and get disadvantaged. Maybe this will point them in a different direction, you know. Like, you know, I was a safe scammer for half of my life, you know. I know that psyche, you know. So part of exertion is also our philosophy of failing forward. That like failure does not necessarily lead to a game over, but alternative paths through. You know, we also want to keep track of like where you exert your limits. You know, the game will recognize, you know, you're not really good at this. You know, maybe you just find an alternative route or something. Then like that, there are more ways of getting through challenges. You know, be it conversation, be it something mechanical, be it something dramatic. That like kind of really all types of players would feel like, I can be this type of spy, or like, you know, this spy is kind of like me. You know, I would act like this. You know, I think this is the like number one question, at least I ask in RPGs when I play, you know, and there are other types of players as well, is like, you know, I get into a situation like, okay, what would I do if I was in this world, like with a big axe, for example, you know, how would I approach this, you know, and we really want to like cater to all types of players, you know, in a meaningful way. And we think exertion is like exerting with the dice is one of these ways as well, is like how to add a bit more oomph onto this like regular dice roll.
From a presentation standpoint, Project C4 echoes Disco Elysium, 3D characters in painterly, isometric environments. Quest entries in the journal have unique key art that changes as the quests progress to reflect their different outcomes. With Disco's thought cabinet artist Anton Vil returning for much of the game's art, it's clear Zorm wants C4 to have as much of a distinct visual and narrative identity as its lauded predecessor.
Absolutely. Art by Anton Vil and Olesya Nazarenko, absolutely wonderful. Inspired a bit by illustration, you know, and probably many great artists whom I cannot name because I'm more of on the writing side. But yes, beautiful art to like kind of really, you know, bring our strength out in like, you know, narrative storytelling, visual storytelling, you know. How like a simple thing, how beautiful can a simple thing like a journal be actually, you know. So yeah, we are quite proud of the level of quality, you know, and also the amount of meaning these pictures inhabit, you know, like here as well, you know. This is a collage of Anton and Olesya's art. It's pretty wonderful. And this project we're currently in the pre-alpha stage, so look forward to sharing more with you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe for the latest news, previews, and reviews. And for more on Project C4, head over to pcgamer.com.